For today's class, you'll want a few things. You may want a beverage of some sort, maybe a bottle of water, maybe a warm beverage off to the side where you'll be able to see where it's at. For your props, you might want warm socks for cold feet, 2 blocks, a blanket or 2. I'm sitting on one because that's more comfortable for me, and a bolster or heavy pillow. So come into an easy seat, maybe the legs cross. Maybe you have a variation as I do, depending on what your body is feeling today. You don't have to have that straight up and down spine if it's more comfortable to let the spine round a little bit. As long as you're comfortable and there's no pain involved in how you're positioned, that's a good easy seat for you today. And you may find that it changes by the end of class. So let the eyes close once you're in your easy seat. If that's not comfortable for you, let the eyes unfocus and gaze comes down and the eyelids shutter so slightly. Bring your attention to your breath. How does it feel today? Does it feel short and almost rushed? Does it feel uncomfortable? Does it feel flowy and at ease? Is it somewhere in between? Take a deep breath in through your nose. Open your mouth and let it go. No control. Deep breath in through your nose. Find a little more space for a little more air. Pause at the top. Let it go, no control. Take another deep breath in through the nose. Filling all the way up, pausing at the top. Sipping in a little more air. Finding more space. Maybe it's in the back of your throat. Hold it. Hold it. And let it all go. Push everything out until you're empty. And let the breath come back to normal. So we're going to work on equal breath. You're going to inhale for a count of 3 to start. Hold for my count of 3. Exhale for my count of 3. Hold for my count of 3. And then we'll extend all the way up to 6. We'll work our way up. Inhale through the nose, 2, 3. Hold, 2, 3. Exhale through the nose, 2, 3. Hold, 2, 3. Inhale through the nose, 2, 3. Hold, 2, 3. Exhale through the nose, 2, 3. Hold, 2, 3. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Deep cleansing breath in and out. And inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Deep inhale. Let it go. Long, slow inhale. Let it go. Long, slow inhale. Long, slow exhale. Let the eyes come open. And reach for your blocks. We're going to start with a heart bench. You've got two options with your blocks. You might take the one that will be under your head at the base of the skull on the high end, and the one that will be between your shoulder blades on the middle end. Most people find this is a little too heavy, so go down one level on both. You might want to pad your blocks with a blanket just to get the edges from not digging in. So the block that is placed lengthwise with the mat is going to be between your shoulder blades, and the higher block is going to be at the base of the skull. And you're just going to ease yourself back and figure out what you need to move. Make the adjustments. Let the arms come long by the sides. Maybe the legs are stretched out long. Maybe it feels better to bend the knees and not knee them. Personally, I find it's a little more comfortable with the legs long. And just breathe. Let the eyes close. Notice your breath again. Have you started to find a little more ease? As you move through today's practice, you may find that you really, really want to fidget. If you can, sit through that. If you need to get that out, give yourself a count of 10 to 20, and then slow it down, and then you'll find stillness. I will largely stay quiet as you sit in each pose. Allowing you to find that stillness both in your mind and in your body. Check in with your breath. As this pose opens the heart, it also does help open the front of the lungs and help find the tension that you might be carrying on the back of the lung walls. And with the long holds, helps get into the space between the muscles. Press your forearms into the floor and lift yourself up. Go ahead and slide your blocks off the side of the mat. I'm going to face you, but you might face lengthwise on your mat. So we come into butterfly, bringing the soles of the feet together. Heels can be as close or as far from the groin as you need, depending on the tightness of your own personal body today. Remember, we practice in the body that shows up today, because the body that we practiced in yesterday was yesterday's body. So I notice my hips, while they're usually a little tight, are tighter than usual. So I need to have my feet a good 1.5 feet away from my groin. And that's just where I'm at. And you might stay upright in this. You might lean forward a little bit to add a little depth. Depending on how close you are, you might grab your block. You might even put it on your feet, depending on where you are, and rest your forehead there. And just let the body hang. As you move through this practice, I would like you to keep one thing in mind, that sensation is good. Sensation is perfectly okay. Unlike a more active practice where we would say find your edge, or discomfort is fine, pain is not, I'm going to encourage you to not look for an edge, to not look for pain or discomfort, and instead just find that sensation. It might not be comfortable, but I don't want it to be active discomfort. And if you're having trouble finding that spot, stay on the comfort side of wherever you think you're heading. I would like you to avoid no sensation, but some sensation is good. Always come back to your breath, your natural breath. Nice and long. Walk your hands back towards your body and lift your knees in. And we'll come into a child's pose, and you've got lots of options here. If you've got ankle issues, you might lay a blanket across the back of the mat to pad your ankles. If you have knee issues, you might put that blanket behind your knees so that you've got some support there and can only go so far. Option to have the knees together or apart. You might rest your forehead on a block. If the body is particularly tight and or you find that your bottom is sticking up very high, you might take your bolster and choose to put it underneath your body and let the knees be wider than the bolster so you can support your whole body. And I'll let you know if you've got your head turned to the side for the bolster, or even a blanket for the mat. I'll let you know when we're at halfway so you can turn the other way. you've got one cheek laying on the mat or a bolster or blanket, go ahead and turn your head the other way. Come up into a tabletop and move aside any props that you might have. And you're going to come down onto your belly. Stack your elbows right underneath your shoulders. A lot of us have a habit of bringing our elbows wider. But look down. I mean, your elbows should hug right into your body. Your forearm should be hugging right onto the body. So in a vinyasa class, we would go ahead and press the tops of the feet into the mat, engage the quads so the kneecaps lift. So go ahead and do that. Now let go. Let the head just drop down and hang. Let the body just drop away from the shoulders. And sinking down towards the mat. Maybe you have a block for your forehead. Maybe letting the neck just hang actually feels great on the neck and the shoulders, where so many of us carry tension. If you find your chest is very close to the ground, chances are that you have your elbows too far back. There should be, really the bottom of your ribs should be coming in contact with the mat. If it's still a little too intense for you, I would suggest putting a blanket underneath the bottom of the ribs and the belly to lift you up and take some of that arch out of the back. Also the option to pigeon toe the toes and bring the heels wide. Bring the hands directly underneath the shoulders and press yourself up to a tabletop. Stay here for about a minute to help neutralize. And when you're ready, you're going to sink your bottom to your heels again and find child's pose. Maybe a different variation feels good this time. Maybe you want to go back to the same thing because it felt just right. Let the elbows be in contact with the mat.
And just let everything release.
Press yourself up to a tabletop. Move any props out of the way if they were there. And you're going to step your right knee towards your right ankle. That foot can come back by the groin or the hip. Maybe you put a block underneath the hip of the bent leg. So I would put it underneath my right hip. Maybe it feels better to have a bolster here and come down here. Maybe your hips are not happy today, so I'm going to suggest a 90-90. So you're coming into roughly 90 degrees on both legs, and it's a little more comfortable. And you're just going to, for the 90-90, you're going to lean your body towards that front foot and just get yourself a little more, tension's not the right word, but that greater sensation that way. If you are in setting up for sleeping swan, walk your arms forward until your body drapes to where you're comfortable. And maybe that's here, and maybe that's, you just want that bolster to come here. So you're on your forearms and you've got a place to rest your head and your chest. Maybe it's a block. Maybe upright feels better. Maybe you want to try that 90-90 because it's a little gentler on the hip socket. And just breathe. Slowly walk your hands back towards your body until you're upright. You're going to bring both legs around front and lean back on your hands. Let the knees be bent and windshield wiper your legs side to side, just to help counter that hold and that movement, and let some blood flow and natural lubricants come back into the body and into the joints. And you'll either turn over to get into a tabletop, or you'll flip the legs back around. I'm going to turn just because it keeps my active legs on your side. So when you're ready, you're going to bring that left knee up to the left hand and find the setup for excuse me, sleeping swan, or that 90-90, if that's what you took on the other side, or if it feels better on this side. As we all know, our sides are different between strength and flexibility and everything else. So you may have a tightness on one side that doesn't exist on the other. And allow for that. With the long holds of yin, we have a little better options for that. So you may have noticed I just placed a block underneath my elbow to bring the floor up a little closer to my body without creating a pinch. If that's what you need to do, even though it's not on my other side, pay attention to what your body's telling you. Just take a moment, notice where the sensation is and what it could mean. Slowly walk your hands back towards your torso, removing any props. Bring both legs around front. Hands behind you. Fingers can face you or face away, whatever feels better on your wrist. Let the knees bend and windshield wiper your legs side to side. You can bring yourself upright and face your screen. Come into a wide seated straddle, your dragonfly. Take a moment, check in with the body. Maybe you need a blanket underneath your sit bones. Maybe even a block underneath. If you feel like your back is very rounded, so it'll help rotate your hips a little forward. Or even on the bolster. So bring your right hand to the middle in front of you, left hand to the side and behind, and take your twist. Finding your dragonfly twist. Where is that point of sensation without discomfort? Go ahead and bring yourself back to center. Switch the left hand to center. The right hand will reach to the side and behind you. And you'll find your dragonfly twist on this side. Go ahead and come back to center. We're going to set ourselves up for Shavasana. So any variation you need, maybe a blanket under the head for a pillow, maybe the other blanket over the body for some extra warmth, perhaps a bolster underneath the knees to release the low back. Find what feels best for you. And let the whole body release. And just enjoy your Shavasana. Bring your attention back to your breath and start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. And rotate your wrists and your ankles. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Stretch the arms overhead in that deep early morning stretch. Maybe the toes point too. And on your exhale, bring your knees into the chest. And slide a blanket off if it's there. And rock side to side. Eventually coming to rest on the side closer to your screen. Or your right side, depending. Pause here. And feel yourself sinking into the ground. Grounding down through your mat and through the floor and through the earth beneath your building. Just as you feel yourself supported and held up by those same things. And when you're ready, you press your hand into the earth. Find your easy seat again. Maybe the hands come to heart center if that's in your practice. I'd like to send you with peace and with love. Om Shanti Shanti. Happy everything and merry always.